John Deere, the iconic American manufacturer, finds itself in one of the most precarious situations of its nearly two-century history. A company once celebrated as a cornerstone of American industry and agriculture now faces a crisis of trust and relevance, sparked by a controversial decision to move a substantial portion of its manufacturing operations to Mexico. The fallout from this decision has reached far and wide, with former President Donald Trump leading a fiery opposition that threatens to reshape the company's fortunes. Trump's proposed 200% tariff on John Deere imports from Mexico has become a lightning rod for debate, highlighting tensions between globalization and national interests, corporate priorities, and community values. For a company that built its legacy as a symbol of American resilience and ingenuity, the stakes have never been higher. The name John Deere is synonymous with American farming, representing not just a brand but a way of life. Founded in 1837 in Grand Detour, Illinois, by a blacksmith who developed the first self-scouring steel plow, John Deere grew into a global powerhouse with a market valuation exceeding $100 billion. Its green and yellow tractors, combines, and agricultural machinery have long been regarded as essential tools for farmers across the United States. Over the decades, Deere's image became entwined with the values of hard work, innovation, and a commitment to the American worker. Its factories, primarily located in rural towns, provided stable jobs and helped sustain local economies. For generations of farmers and factory workers, the company was not merely a business. It was an institution, a partner in their success, and a symbol of what it meant to be American. Yet, in recent years, John Deere's relationship with its workers, customers, and communities has grown increasingly strained. The company's decision to relocate manufacturing to Mexico was presented as a financial imperative. Executives pointed to the rising costs of labor in the United States and the need to remain competitive in an increasingly globalized market. Labor costs in Mexico, where factory workers earn an average of $4.82 per hour compared to $29 per hour in the U.S., presented an opportunity to significantly reduce production expenses. Additionally, Mexico offered logistical advantages due to its proximity to the U.S. and its robust trade agreements, making it an attractive destination for manufacturing operations. However, what seemed like a sound business decision on paper has triggered a wave of backlash that threatens to undo decades of goodwill. The impact on American workers and their communities has been profound. In towns like Waterloo, Iowa, and Moline, Illinois, where John Deere plants have been economic lifelines, the closure or downsizing of factories has left a void that is difficult to fill. These are places where generations of families have worked for John Deere, and the company's presence shaped the cultural and economic identity of the region. Factory closures have not only resulted in job losses, but also eroded the sense of pride and stability that these jobs once provided. Local businesses that depended on John Deere workers as customers are now struggling to survive, and towns that were once thriving hubs of industrial activity are grappling with the social and economic consequences of decline. Adding fuel to the fire, former President Donald Trump has positioned himself as the fiercest critic of John Deere's decision. During his 2024 presidential campaign, Trump lambasted the company's move as a betrayal of American workers and an affront to the values that built the nation. His promise to impose a 200% tariff on all John Deere products manufactured in Mexico resonated deeply with voters in the heartland, where the pain of factory closures and economic uncertainty is acutely felt. After defeating Vice President Kamala Harris in the presidential race, Trump wasted no time in acting on his promise, sending shockwaves through the agricultural and manufacturing sectors. The proposed tariff has the potential to cripple John Deere's operations, particularly in its home market, where the company generates nearly 60% of its revenue. The implications of such a tariff are staggering. For American farmers, who are among John Deere's largest and most loyal customers, the tariff would translate into significantly higher prices for equipment. Farmers already face slim profit margins, and the additional costs could push many to the brink of financial ruin. On average, farmers spend tens of thousands of dollars annually on equipment, and larger operations often have expenses running into the millions. A sharp increase in the price of John Deere machinery would force many to seek alternatives, potentially benefiting foreign competitors like Kubota and CNH Industrial. For farmers who have relied on John Deere's reputation for quality and reliability, the prospect of switching to a different brand is both unsettling and, in many cases, economically necessary. Compounding these challenges is John Deere's controversial approach to equipment repairs. In recent years, the company has shifted its focus to producing technologically advanced machinery equipped with proprietary software. While these innovations have revolutionized farming, they have also introduced new frustrations for farmers. Modern John Deere equipment often requires specialized tools and software for repairs, effectively locking out independent mechanics and farmers themselves. This has given rise to widespread dissatisfaction and fueled the right to repair movement, which advocates for farmers' ability to fix their own equipment. Critics argue that Deere's restrictive repair policies are monopolistic and exploitative, forcing farmers to pay exorbitant fees for authorized repairs and leaving them vulnerable to costly delays during critical planting and harvesting seasons. The outcry over Deere's repair practices has drawn the attention of lawmakers and regulators. Class action lawsuits allege that the company is violating antitrust laws, and states across the country are considering right-to-repair legislation aimed at curbing such practices. President Biden's 2021 executive order addressing restrictive repair policies has added momentum to the movement, signaling a growing willingness among policymakers to challenge corporate practices that prioritize profits over consumers' rights. For John Deere, these developments represent not only legal and financial risks, but also a fundamental threat to its relationship with its customer base. Internationally, the fallout from John Deere's move to Mexico and Trump's proposed tariff is equally significant. The company relies on overseas markets for nearly 40% of its revenue, and the political controversy surrounding its manufacturing strategy could damage its global reputation. Foreign competitors are likely to capitalize on the turmoil, presenting themselves as more reliable and customer-focused alternatives. Meanwhile, Deere's network of dealerships, suppliers, and service providers faces its own challenges as the ripple effects of tariffs and factory closures disrupt their operations. For American farmers, the stakes could not be higher. Their livelihoods depend on access to affordable, reliable equipment, and the turmoil surrounding John Deere threatens to undermine the stability they rely on. The company's decision to prioritize cost savings over its historic commitment to American workers and its restrictive repair policies have left many questioning whether John Deere still stands for the values it once championed. As they navigate the challenges of rising costs, political uncertainty, and a rapidly changing agricultural landscape, farmers are left wondering whether their trusted partner can continue to play a role in their success. The future of John Deere hangs in the balance. The company's leadership faces a difficult choice: to double down on its global strategy or to attempt to rebuild its relationship with the American communities and customers that have been the foundation of its success. The decisions made in the coming months will not only determine the fate of John Deere but also serve as a bellwether for the broader tensions between globalization and local interests in the modern economy. For a company that has long prided itself on its resilience and innovation, the challenge is clear: to adapt and thrive while rediscovering the values that made it a symbol of American greatness. As John Deere grapples with its future, the question remains: can it once again become the partner that farmers, workers, and communities have trusted for generations?